Hey, did you know silver prices are low right now because investors are selling their holdings because of a turnaround in demand? Once fears subside though, we could see a surge in demand for silver as consumers come back. A perfect time to get your silver IRA started. And this month you'll get an incredible free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin with a qualified IRA of $20,000 or higher. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold. Call the team now at 877-646-5347 to find out more or visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers, it's Jean Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting, for sharing, and thank you for subscribing and hitting the notifications button. This is more important than ever as we see that subscribers are being removed and people tell us that they check back and although they know they're subscribed, they have been unsubscribed. Please make sure. Thank you so much. All right, let's dive into it. Are we experiencing a baseline reality shift, and what the hell does that even mean? Well, this comes from an observation that so many of you have been sharing with us in messages, comments, emails, where people are saying, you know, what I'm really beginning to see is that what I am perceiving to be reality and how I see the world now, or how I question the world, is so disconnected from how a lot of my friends and family see it. We can't even seem to find any common ground, which is very common in this time that we live in because of the shift in vibration, because of the difference. But right now, we're in this critical juncture and something amazing is happening. Actually, I believe we're just about at the shift point. When I say baseline reality shift, what that means is up until very recently, the world at large, and I'm going to stick in my observational point of view to the Western culture I have experienced myself for most of my life, we have had, collectively speaking, a baseline reality that's kind of to fill out the forms, do your thing. We understood the world is a globe and it's racing through space in infinity at enormous speeds. We realize there's a political and a financial and an economical system. Although these are all created systems by us, and when I say us, I mean by mankind, we perceive them to be kind of set in stone and almost natural laws. And so this has worked over the 20th century. This has worked, but it's always been questioned by a very, very small minority. What we see now is where we reach the point of critical mass, where people are questioning the very baseline of our reality, whether everything that we've believed about who we are, where we came from, what our history is, who is really in power, what is even this plane we live on, all these things are now being questioned, but not by thousands of people, not by hundreds of thousands, not even by millions. I would say by hundreds of millions, if not billions of people are now looking into these things and they're opening up their perspective, their consciousness, and their minds to greater possibilities of existence. This is what I call the baseline reality shift. And this is why we see this extreme chaos and discrepancy in the world today, because there's a critical mass pushing forward and not going back to the old programming anymore. And in this, people get frustrated because the masses at large seem to be programmed and under this mass psychosis phenomenon. But I want to say this, don't underestimate how many people are currently here as extras. The non-player characters, and or you can call them backdrop people. This is one part of this equation, is these are not really real people, a lot of them that we see. I know this is controversial, but we did whole videos on this subject, so have others. There's another component to this, that people are on different journeys. We always know in this timeline split, there's going to be those who are going to stay on the artificial downward spiral timeline. And as somebody has said so beautifully, all paths eventually lead to the light. Theirs is just having a greater detour. They're probably going to recycle, come back, reincarnate, and do this all over again, or maybe a few more times, and then move into a different realm. But we see this baseline reality shift almost everywhere now. It's in all age groups. It's among people that would have never even thought of questioning their reality. It's especially to be seen in the older demographic, actually. I want to say 60 and up. And when I say older, this is just in our human terms. I don't think this is older at all. But 60 and up is incredible. The number of people who are absolutely breaking free from the matrix they've lived in. You could even say the baby boomer generation in many ways. Absolutely amazing to see, and how influential they are becoming yet again, as they've been all through their lives, a leading group once again. And it's been said so many times within this matrix that thought leaders, they kind of age out. I believe the opposite is the truth. Thought leaders will once again be the elders, the wise elders. So this is beginning to happen. But in this baseline reality shift, tremendous suffering happens, because when you lose the foundation for what you believed in, to be the foundation of your whole life, of your whole existence, you must grieve. You must have grieving feelings. You must feel the sadness of this. It must trigger sadness within all of us if we have based our lives on lies. I mean, that's just kind of the nature of our psyche and how it works. And so we are grieving through this. And when I say the baseline reality shift is happening, I'm talking about the following months and years where this is going to really become so open and visible that this timeline shift will have to happen in all areas, because the two societies, if you will not be able to closely coexist with each other because of their vastly different perspectives. We're currently on a trajectory where we're simply questioning everything. And why wouldn't we? Everywhere where we look deeper, we find lies. Politics, we find lies. In all of science, we find lies. History, we find lies everywhere. False baselines. In religion also. And these conversations will continue to happen. What happens when we reach a critical mass is basically a quantum leap. When we reach a critical mass and people say we need 50% of the people, we need 60. No. We need perhaps a fraction of all the people, a small fraction. The numbers vary, but maybe it's 1%, maybe it's even less than that. I think we've reached that, but let's say it's 10% or 15%. This critical mass, in all of our lived history, a small group of dedicated critical mass people has created huge shifts. This shift will be unlike any other before. When this begins to really sink in, and really manifest in our physical reality, it will be the greatest shift you could possibly imagine, because our perception of reality has been changed forever, and we're now exploring what that even means. Back in 10 years ago, if you had talked about simulation, if you had talked about, is the earth flat, is it round, whatever, I mean, we're not even saying there's any conclusive evidence yet. We're still exploring this. But what has happened is this has gone basically mainstream. And to kind of finish this subject up here, a lot of people say today, oh my God, for example, in the United States, the right, the Republican Party, they've gone crazy. No, this is really something completely different. This search for truth has moved into the mainstream and has absolutely taken over a fraction of the political apparatus. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying everything is great there. But what I'm saying, this movement has actually made it into the highest levels of the political apparatus, and we're now experiencing the shift. So these things, which are happening in all countries, by the way, it seems to be that the political right has embraced this quest for truth in much better ways than the political left everywhere. This is everywhere we look in every country. However, it is absolutely extremely evident here in the United States. This is another baseline reality shift. We need to shed all the old boxes and belief systems and truly come to this point of truth and realize it is still a journey. We're still exploring. We're still exiting the matrix. We're still transcending all these limitations. So, friends, there is much more than just reason for hope. I believe we have every right to be in full trust of this process as we're shifting our baseline reality. I encourage you to not fully give up on those who are awakening, and do not spend too much time trying to wake up someone who's fast asleep. It's going to happen when it happens. Focus on your journey. Focus on truth, on freedom, on love, on all these beautiful things. So thank you for being with us on this journey. Please subscribe. Please hit the notifications button. And we'll see you all very, very soon. We love you. We appreciate you.